This map, for instance, here has taken 6 years, I think. And I didn't want to, obviously not too concerned about license and agreement, copyright. I just wanted to circumvent that whole debate. So I decided to make my own map. And this, every route on this, every pathway has been skateboarded and surveyed for altitude. And also all the organisms on those routes have been surveyed as well. So you can see the locations of the plants, and there's a key. So for instance, if you're interested in where all the apple trees are in Bristol, you can go and visit them all and make friends. Okay, so that's food for free map. Oh, actually, often bringing digital data to the real world is quite tricky. But we solved the problem with this one, was that we produced a piece of metal that's now in the park that is a brass, so you can rub it. And so you can go to the park and rub it and have a map where all the free food is in the park, and then you can go and collect it. So those two are quite nice projects. Now become a bit more troubling. Obviously, as an artist, as a self-employed person in a precarious whatever, you have to be very efficient. Also, if you're somehow expected to be an exemplary person, you have to somehow refine your behaviour and your practice constantly. So one attempt to do that for myself was to start making a plan for the forthcoming day, considering every detail of the day, the tasks, my ambitions, and how to constantly refine them, how they all link up, and do them very efficiently and attempt perfection. Been doing that for some years now. Last year well, I can pass these around. This is a day plan for Tuesday the 28th of April 2009. April last year was a little bit more detailed. I actually assigned a financial value for every task that I performed and totaled them up at the end of the day to have a good idea of the wealth that I was generating through my actions, so that I could kind of have an overview of whether it was more profitable to stay at home or go out and have adventures, extreme adventures, or just go to the park with some friends. This one was for going to the park with friends. You can pass them around. We're generally encouraged, or maybe not encouraged, that's too conspiratorial, to put financial values on things that are obnoxious to us, like electricity bills, and avoid totaling things up that are quite, especially of a spiritual nature. We're not supposed to put financial value to that. So that leaves us in a very weak position when it comes to compare the economy and our personal lives. So, for instance, what is it worth to you, to the person, to lie in your bed all day with a friend? What's it worth? So, but that means generally you don't know. So then someone says, why don't you come and do my gardening? I'll pay you 20 quid. Or why don't you pay me £20 so you can send text messages to wherever, And so you know one, but you don't know the other. So this is a way somehow to arm yourself and be perfectly prepared. That's day planning. There is a book available for that, detailing the kind of principles and the practice a little bit more if people are interested. And then we come on to the last project that I'll show for the moment. Come on. So it occurred to me that we spend a lot of time maintaining our sense of self and our identity through kind of frivolous means like haircuts, but also through quite important compulsory systems such as taxation, obeying the laws of the land. We actually expend a lot of energy to conform to these systems. And I was, as Harriet mentioned, I've come from a kind of digital background and kind of hacking, and I was very interested in the fantasy of having the key to the system. So if you have the password and the ability to pass through the system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, with all the doors open, that would be quite something to achieve, something to share with other people. And I was specifically interested in how you could do that legally. So you could pass, some people or classes of persons seem to pass through all the cracks in the system and expect to do that and never be challenged and do that for all their lives. So I thought I would find the ways to navigate the system freely and share that information with the general public. So for past 6 years, I think, I've been making a map of the United Kingdom system and or surveying the whole system, making maps of the portions of that, thematic maps, for instance. I'll have some, for instance, yes, I produced this book. This, if you imagine you come to a city like London, you buy the A to Z, they're the streets, and then you're free to travel around. You can see that that area over there is quite leafy, quite attractive, or that area looks very densely urbanized. So you kind of have you seem to have a choice. Certainly not maybe where you live, but where you can go. You have an overview. You may never go to some of those areas, but you know they're there, and you probably feel freer. This is a 0 to 9 atlas of the system for the United Kingdom. So when you may move to the UK, you can see all the systems, how they're all interconnected, and what your possibilities are. So that's the handy version. I'll pass this around. So that's quite practical. It's how to get a bank account, how to get a library card, and that. And then, of course, when you've got a map of the system, you can start to traverse the data in different ways. This map here, if you'd like to pass it around, is a map of what happens when you become sexually active. So obviously there's some positive and negative sides to that. This one's a little bit more troubling. This is how to become homeless and how to leave homelessness behind. That one's on. This one was researched and made with assistance or with homeless people in Newcastle. So, of course, once you have the map of the system, assuming that the majority of people conform to that map, then you actually have the map of identity. You have the map of people. Very few people are non-conformists. So once you have the map of being a person, then you can use that map to change your identity, and you can use it to create new identities. And because the map is a set of legal relationships, it's a map of how to create identities legally.